Hey there, Happy New Year, Happy New Decade. Um, I just wanted to do a quick entry just to make note of some of the plans that they're goals really, goals to accomplish for 2020. Um, I came up with 12 things that I wanted, my goals for my reading, my library. Essentially, that's it. It's just for the things that I want to accomplish in as far as series. Actually, it's going to be the year for series, I think, for me. And then also just goals for inventory in my library. So first of all, I decided I want to finish the Carlos Ruiz series, The Cemetery of Forgotten Books. There's 4 books in that series. I finished the first one, Shadow of the Wind, 3 years ago, I want to say, 4 years ago. I really loved it. It was one of those books. Once I got started on it, I just read the whole thing. I think it took me like maybe a day and a half. I loved it. And then oh, excuse me. Oh, still on the struggle bus with the health issues and things, but I don't want to get into that. Anyway, then I bought Prisoner's Game. I think I have Prisoner's Game. I should double check. Anyway, tried to read it, couldn't get into it, so I put it to the side for a little bit. And now I have I just bought the third one, the Labyrinth of Spirits. Hang on, I'm gonna get it. Okay, it was the Angel's Game, not the Prisoner's Game. So that's this one. And then just a couple of weeks ago, I found a really nicely priced copy from Book Outlet, the Labyrinth of the Spirits. So I need to still get the Prisoners. I think it's called the Prisoners Game, the third one in the series. Anyway, so I do still need to get that one this year in order to finish reading that whole series. But that's one of my goals. And so and then another goal that I have, there is an author, a translator actually, Emily Watson, who translated a version of the Odyssey. And apparently it's quite compelling in that it's quite different than translations that have been done by previous translators who have all been men, apparently. So I noticed when I was unhauling books that were being stored at my father's place that I had a copy of the Odyssey. So I'm gonna read that. Then I'm going to compare it to Emily Watson's version of the Odyssey. And then there's another book that years ago I had heard about, and I'd always kind of been in the back of my mind, I'd be interested in reading that, but not until I read the Odyssey. A book called Waiting for Odysseus, which is the Odyssey except from the point of view of 4 of the female characters. So I've decided that I kind of want to make that a little project for this year as well. I also have 2 books that I got years ago from a boyfriend of mine at the time. Called that's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. I've never actually read the books. How embarrassing is that? So, I mean, I know the story. We all know the story. And I fallen in love with many different versions of it, but I've never actually read the book. So I decided that this is going to be the year that I'm going to read these. And then also I've decided that I want to reread. This is my reread things. The Salterton trilogy. One second. I probably should have prepared for this a little bit better. Anyway, the Salterton trilogy by Roberston Davies. Yeah, I loved these books in my early 20s and I want to reread them. And it's not the Salterton trilogy, I just realized looking at it. It's the Cornish trilogy. Um, all these years I've been thinking the wrong trilogy is my favorite of his. How embarrassing is that? But in any case, I'm looking forward to rereading these. Which brings me to my final goal. So, if you think about that, that is 4 books. There's 4 books in the cemetery of the forgotten books. There's 3 books there that I've kind of grouped together relating to the Odyssey that I want to read. And then 2 books from the Alice in Wonderland. And then 3 more for the Cornish trilogy of Roberston Davies books. So I'm not great at math, I'm not going to lie. But if I've calculated correctly, 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 3 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So that'll be 1 book for every month of the year. So I should be able to accomplish that on top of whatever other reading I decide I want to do. So that seemed doable to me. But I have another goal on top of that. I think I mentioned in an earlier video that I've really been thinking about ordering books, buying books, the whole managing the book inventory that's coming in. And I mean, so many times I just swear off the books. Like, I'm not getting any more books. I have enough books. And then 2 seconds later, I bump into books and there I am again. So I was kind of thinking about what I wanted to do. And I thought, do I want to be extreme and say, that's it, I'm not buying any more books this year? Do I want to do a no buy? Do I want to do a low buy? What do I want to do? So I think what I want to do for the whole year, for everything, is a low buy year. I spent a lot of money last year, which was fine. I mean, I'm single and I make plenty of money for myself. It's not like it's creating problems in my life, except that it's getting to the point now where I'm looking at things and just thinking, well, why shouldn't I buy it? I have the money. And for most of my life, if I'm honest, I've not had the money to do things like that. And so I just didn't have the luxury of being able to have the things that I wanted. So it's been very nice these last few years to be able to do that. But at the same time, I kind of don't want it to get out of control. Back in November, I did a quick purge of stuff. And I am not huge, like, I live at the end of a dirt road when I order things. Like, I have to order things online and get them delivered, and it's not like I'm going out every weekend to go shopping. I don't like shopping that much anyway, but it is hard these days because I find, the internet is tracking everything and it's constantly just bombarding you with stuff like, I think you'll like this, and it's not wrong, right? Like, it's usually pretty good at recommending things that I want. And so I do find that I am buying things at least once or twice a month. I'm ordering stuff, whether it's books or running equipment or running gear or camping or hiking gear, outdoor stuff. Like, I'm just spending money, and I really, if I step back and think about it, like, I have enough. I can easily go. I had to order a new pair of winter boots. Mine are like 5 years old, and they needed new liners, but they don't make liners for those boots anymore. And now the sole on them, they've really held together very well for 5 years. The sole of them it's getting a hole, and so there's I was going to say winter's getting into them. Snow is getting into them, which is making them wet. So I did have to order new boots. And it's things like that. And I don't want to say to myself, because so much of my life has been about not having access to money to have the things that I want to have. I don't want to go back to living that way and deprive myself of things. I've worked hard to get where I'm at, and it's nice to live a comfortable life, and I don't want to deprive myself of that, especially because I know that there may be times in the future when I won't have it quite so good. So I want to be able to still have the things I want while not necessarily spending all kinds of money on things that I just happen to think are shiny and lovely. Because it does start to take over and detract from the things that I have that I already very much enjoy. So, in the spirit of that, I've kind of made up a few rules about buying books this year, and the rules are going to go like this. There are 3 books in my list of goals here that I do not already have. And that would be The Prisoner's Game from the Cemetery of Forgotten Books series. Emily Watson's version of the Odyssey, and then also Waiting for Odysseus. I need to buy those. So, of course, I'm going to let myself buy those books in order to achieve those goals, right? I mean, clearly, if I need to purchase something to accomplish something, and I have the funds to do that, then I have every intention of doing it. Other than that, though, what I've decided I'm going to do is when I hear about a book and I think, oh my goodness, I really want to read that book, I'm going to keep it on a list. And twice this year, I am going to go and, look for those books, or either online or in a secondhand store or whatever. But it's going to be 2 very specific, very focused purchasing trips that I do, or looking online for those books and that sort of thing. If I come across book sales and things like that, I am more than welcome to go and rifle through the books and see what's there and add books that I see to my list. If I cannot find them secondhand and I decide they're not worth having to buying brand new or whatever, I'll have to deal with that later. I'm not going to, just because, well, I'm there and it's $1 and it's for charity, or I'm just not going to make those excuses. If I think it's a book I want to see, I will add it to my list. And then in June, which is when my birthday is, and then again at the end of the year, so around Christmas time, I will have a look and see which books I really, really want to add to my collection. And that's when I will figure out how I'm going to go about getting those books, whether I'm going to get them secondhand or find them online. If it means I have to buy a book brand new, then I guess I've done a good thing by supporting the author for all their hard work. It's so easy, I think, to just get secondhand books, and they're cheap, right? But, I mean, it does kind of detract a little bit from the publishing industry on all the hard work that they do. And I have the means at the moment to be spending that money. I mean, not everybody does by any stretch of the imagination. And I kind of look at it now as like, for many, many years, I used to have to, and I say have to, I really enjoyed it, but I used to go to the secondhand shops and things for all my books and clothes and things like that. And I think now that I have a well-paying job, it's maybe more my time to contribute to the secondhand shops so other people can enjoy that kind of thing. Anyway, those are my goals for 2020. Nice and simple. And I'll hopefully check in. I'll maybe do a quarterly check-in on where I'm at with keeping up with those goals and that sort of thing. But for today, I'm going to go and try and get a nice little New Year's Day hike in before I get back to doing some reading. I'm still working on Michelle Obama's Becoming. which I will listen to on my hike, and then the Amnesiac Clinic and the Miss Marple series. So hopefully I'll have something to enter soon. Till then, happy reading.